Today, a Minnesota man is fighting a legal battle against ICE after he says federal agents unlawfully detained him twice. 38-year-old Garrison Gibson says armed agents broke down the front door of his house while his wife, 10-year-old daughter, and 11-year-old niece were inside. Officials sent Gibson to a facility in Texas and threatened to deport him to Liberia, a country he fled when he was a child. A judge then released him, but the next day he was detained again by ICE. Garrison Gibson joins me now, along with Mark Prokish, an attorney representing him. Garrison, what have these past 10 days been like for you and your family?
We're just trying to settle back in, basically, and get on with our life.
Talk to me a little bit about that moment when everything unfolded. And again, it's you, your wife, but also 2 kids are in the house.
Yeah, it was very troublesome, because we was all asleep when they first came to the house, and then they was banging on the door. And I knew I had already checked in, so I didn't know why they was here. And they woke my kids.
Oh, they woke your children?
Yes.
And what did they say?
When they first came to the door, it was around 9 o'clock. They banged on the door for at least a good 20 seconds before even saying anything. When I came to the door, I was like, "Who is it?" They just said, "Come outside, we want to talk to you." I was like, "Who is it?" And then they said, "It's ICE, you got to come outside." I was like, "You got a warrant?" They said, "No, we don't have a warrant." I was like, "Okay, go get a warrant and come back." And that's when you see all the officers that's out there. Two cars stayed in the front and 2 cars stayed in the alley. And then the other 2 cars, they left and came back probably an hour and a half later. And that's when they kicked the door in.
So they take you away, and then what?
They took me to the Whipple building, the head office, the Whipple building, booked me, put me in a cold holding cell, and then a few hours later, they put me on a plane to Texas.
So they put him on a plane to Texas. This is the first time, Mark. Explain the confusion that led to Garrison then being detained a second time. What unfolded after he went to Texas?
Thank you, Chris. So yes, we then had filed the habeas corpus early Monday morning, and the federal judge ordered quickly right after that to just hold Garrison in Minnesota while the judge looked through the habeas. And then hours after that was when they sent Garrison down to Texas in violation of that temporary order. The government then quickly realized their mistake, brought him back on Tuesday, and then the judge ordered his release Thursday. Thursday night, I went to pick up Garrison after hours, and because it was after hours, they said, just come on back in tomorrow morning to finish up the paperwork. And with that order from the judge, we thought this will be fine. So we went down back again to the Whipple building on Friday morning, and that's when they re-detained him again.
So the Department of Homeland Security spokesperson, Tricia McLaughlin, says that Garrison's arrest was lawful, calling him a criminal illegal alien, adding that, quote, his lengthy rap sheet includes robbery, drug possession with intent to sell, possession of a deadly weapon, malicious destruction, and theft. He has had a final order of removal from an immigration judge since 2023. That's the statement from DHS. Where does this legal battle go from here?
Well, just in brief response to that, working backwards, Ms. McLaughlin clearly doesn't have all of the facts because, first of all, the order was 2009, not 2023. And second of all, a lot of those alleged arrests have been vacated or dismissed. His only actual criminal conviction is for writing on a wall with a Sharpie when he was about 19 years old. But our plan is to now go and try to vacate that 2009 deportation order because we believe that there's been changes of the laws that makes that deportation order not valid anymore.
Garrison, can you talk about what it's been like, first of all, to come home after this experience, to see your name in the headlines, and government officials talking about you in ways that we just heard from your lawyer are provably untrue?
It's kind of like upsetting because I'm not the same person I was when I was a younger kid. I've matured more. I became a family man, and people that know me know that I'm a good person.
And you say you're a family man, so if I may, how are your wife and your little girl doing?
Like, to be honest, the past few days, like when I was arrested and detained, my wife couldn't sleep. These past few days has been the only time she's really got like a decent amount of sleep. And my daughter, she just came back because she's been at my older cousin's house because she didn't want to be here for a while because it was still traumatizing to her.
In the videos of ICE outside your door, we can actually see and hear your neighbors screaming at the agents. Can you tell us about the kind of support you've gotten from your community?
Man, I love we all each other every time we see each other. It's like hatred towards one another. It's like a neighborhood's supposed to be.
Let me ask you finally, Mark, when you hear the things that DHS has said about your client, do you think that this is indicative of something larger that you've seen in these cases?
Thank you for the question. Yes, and actually here in Minnesota, we've had a couple of ACLU lawsuits about this type of behavior, and the state of Minnesota and the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul have filed a similar lawsuit. And so, yes, this is very indicative of this surge of ICE officers in Minnesota. And it's not Minnesotan. This is not who we are. I love my Minnesota community, and I love, as Garrison said, how our neighbors have really supported each other in our tough times right now.
Mark Prokish, Garrison Gibson, especially Garrison, I know it's not easy to come on TV and talk about these things, but I think the stories are really informative for a lot of people. So thank you for coming on the program. It's much appreciated.